Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. I'm Terry Flewis from the Football Terrace. I'm back in the hot seat, joined by Chris today. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad, man. This is the first time we've done a show together, so I've been looking forward to this one for a while.
Me too, 100%. Obviously joined for the Arsenal versus Southampton game. The Gunners currently leading 2-1 after going a goal behind. We're going to review that with you right now. Of course, we're going to use the OneFootball app to do that. So before we continue, please get that app downloaded. All the information for that is in the description below. To get that done for us right now. And also, whatever platform you're watching on, smash that like button and let's hit that share button as well. Phone calls that will be taken at halftime on 0203 606 0315 as well. So get your calls in to us. But Chris, that performance, I mean, we saw a game of two halves yesterday between the two Manchester clubs. That was a game where there was two halves within the first half. I mean, Arsenal started poorly and they came on really strong.
Yeah. I mean, Southampton have got more to fight for in this game than Arsenal do. At this point, it's just more. I'm not going to call it a training ground session for us. It's more of an opportunity for key players to rest and for some players like Reece Nelson to make an impression. Kolasinac, Chambers to Welbeck, Aubameyang obviously getting minutes in the Premier League that he can't get in Europe. And the start, I think, was more so shaky in terms of our defence. I mean, the mistake that we made was outrageous. Just, I don't want to be too harsh in a sense of saying that's something that I see regularly from Mustafi and Cech. Cech has been a lesser version of the Cech that we've known over the years. This season, I mean, there was that mistake against Swansea. Pretty sure it was Swansea when he miskicked it. Yeah. Mustafi has made a few errors during this season as well. But even prior to the goal, I mean, Tadic got in behind on a couple of occasions. Ward-Prowse had an opportunity to put Southampton up early on as well too. Long has looked threatening, which is something that have a grievance about, considering he's not scored in how many games.
2 goals in the Premier League this season with Shane Long. And you said that Arsenal are making him look like.
Yeah, Lewandowski. Yeah, we're making him look like Lewandowski. Like, we have this thing of like making players lesser players without trying to be disrespectful.
But he is. He plays in the Premier League, but he's not a prolific goal scorer. He'd have more than 2 goals this season if he was. Take our first call of the day. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Yash.
Yash, hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. What was your thoughts on Arsenal's first half display? You happy?
I think it was a bit disappointing. It was more like too many halves in the first half, The first 25 minutes, there was no real shape. I think whenever he rotates the squad, he tries to do too many things at once. So he's trying to have fluidity in those front 3 attacking midfielders. He's trying to put Welbeck to make 2 strikers up front and have Kolasinac as a left wing back. Nothing was working. And you could see that we had no attempts on goal or anything. And then when he kept a solid shape, that first goal came through, that second goal came through because you could see where the players needed to pass to.
Well, you picked up, didn't you, Chris? You were saying that at one point Danny Welbeck was deeper than...
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where, listen, for me, especially coming from a coaching background, coming from the background as a football analyst, there's certain things that I feel like if you try to play a certain way, there's certain principles that you have to maintain. A big one for me is depth and width. So City are a great example of that. If they play their fullbacks inside, Sterling and Sane is going to hug the pitch. With Arsenal earlier on today, there's a point where I'm seeing Bellerin very narrow. I'm seeing not El Neni, I think it was Iwobi as the wider player. Bellerin was further up than Iwobi. There was a point where I saw, I think during that same phase, Welbeck was in a deeper central position than El Neni. And I'm like, well, if we're playing a double pivot of El Neni and Xhaka, why is our left forward in that position? Why is Aubameyang our most dangerous forward far out on the left on the other side, who's occupying the 3 centre-backs on Southampton side? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Where are we getting our depth in terms of stretching the pitch and making it long and then pulling the Southampton lines apart? Where are we getting our width in terms of making it as wide as possible and creating channels for us to pass into? Things like that.
I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, you go on, carry on, yes?
I remember thinking back to midweek when Bellerin was playing, we was getting loads of crosses in from the flanks because we wasn't being pressed on the sides. As soon as it's kickoff, you can see they're all coming narrow on our wide players. Bellerin's not getting any crosses in. Kolasinac wasn't getting any crosses in. And then once we had a shape, And the first goal came, they played a bit more narrow, and that gave more space on the flanks to start getting those crosses in, and we got more attempts on goal. But the worst thing of the half is when you think about that first goal, and I remember watching Arsenal versus Chelsea, that 2-2 draw, it's an exact replica when Zappacosta crosses it in, Alonso runs in front of the defender and scores. Exactly the same. There's no communication in that back line at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for me, the mistake, because someone who played in defence, for me, unless I hear my goalkeeper call for the ball, then I would always go for it. So I think, check, yeah, maybe the element of blame, but for me, Mustafi, he shouldn't be anticipating the goalkeeper coming out. He should be making the move, which he went to do, and then he stopped, and then he blames the goalkeeper for not calling. Well, unless Czech says, I don't know what Czech would shout. Well, he'd probably say keeper, like the universal keepers. If he says, if Czech has shouted that and we haven't heard that, then then you can't blame Mustafi. But it didn't look like he had done. So the mistake was poor. But look, from a neutral looking at this game, I agree with both of you. Things looked a bit of a mess in the beginning. You couldn't create anything. You weren't stringing passes together well. And I really appreciate that call, by the way. Yaz, thank you very, very much. But then you made the changes, and we were speaking earlier about good and bad moments in football, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name? Oh, it's Babe Station again. Hello, are you there? No? I don't know what Jay does that every now and then. He puts through call waiting to us. It's one of them things.
Do all of that in your private time, Jay.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello, it's Josh.
Hello, Josh. Who do you support, mate?
Arsenal.
Good, good. Give us your thoughts on that first half performance from Arsenal Football Club.
It's just, I'm not going to lie, going into the game, when I saw the lineup, I was a bit baffled. I know we want to save players for European matches and stuff like that, but I think Chris was saying it as well earlier, when you're playing someone like El Neni and Xhaka, two defensive players, then our three cams, to me, aren't the most creative players ever. So I thought we could have maybe played at least stop theirs or in there as well for some creativity. But we turned it around. But when you come to go into a football game and know how to play from the get-go rather than leaving it late and not be playing well in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand everything you're saying, but are you not impressed with the fact that Arsenal have the way they've come back into this game? Does that not... I understand there were some poor moments early on. Maybe it was an experiment. Maybe they were trying things. Maybe the players weren't listening to the manager and they were going out of position and the manager had to rein them in a little bit. Like we're not privy to that. I mean, if I'm watching this game now as an Arsenal fan, I'm thinking, yeah, it started poor, but I should be in a good mood, being 2-1 up. I mean, you've got Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck's been quality. You don't normally get that from him, with all due respect.
I mean...
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean... There's two things I want to pick up on what you said there. The first thing in terms of like the lineup for me, we know that we've got a European leg in Moscow, which is going to be an issue. So you want to rest key players that you're intending to start: your Ramseys, your Wilsheres, your Ozils. Mkhitaryan's injured, so obviously he's out. Lacazette, he's coming back towards full fitness. So you don't want to start him in this game as well. And again, Aubameyang is here. You can only play in the Prem. You have to start him. I actually think it was a good balance. I feel like Xhaka at his best is like kind of a holding, deep line playmaker. El Neni has an engine to play box to box to a degree. He can obviously make runs from deep. I feel like when you play a 4-2-3-1, that line of three behind the striker has to be a mixture of two playmakers and one additional forward. I feel like the teams that have played that at their best tend to have that sort of combination. The best example I could use is Bayern Munich, the 2012-2013 team. You've got Schweinsteiger, Javier Martinez, your two sitting players. You've got, at the time I think it was Mandzukic up front. You've got Robin there as the two forwards, one inside forward, one striker.
But Chris, going into that game, did you when you saw the lineup? I appreciate what you're saying. You're making valid points.
Yeah.
Going into the game, did you not feel at one point maybe because obviously Welbeck's of the forward out of the three. But do you think there was going to be enough creativity from those players going in?
I mean, it depends on what you mean by creativity. I mean, at the end of the day, Ozil, Mkhitaryan are some of the most creative players in world football. It's going to be hard for any players of that kind to match that. I feel at the end of the day, though, Iwobi, he's been really on and off for a couple of seasons now. He started last season really, really well. He's kind of just tailed off since the back end of last season into this season. But essentially, him at his best, he's a creative, attacking midfielder. Reece Nelson is a creative, wide player. And then you've got Welbeck, who is a forward, who doesn't really score many goals, but in terms of profiles, in terms of archetypes, I actually think it was a good blend there. So any doubt I had about the game was less to do with the lineup and more to do with just the state that Arsenal are in.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, like the
how we're going to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't so much about the lineup.
Mate, really appreciate that call. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you.
No worries.
No worries.
Take care, mate.
Take it easy.
We're going to go through the OneFootball app now, just before the start of the second half. Make sure you get that downloaded. All the information is in the description below. Currently, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang being voted man of the match. That's a bit harsh, I think. Danny Welbeck, there's that touch for that goal, and his actual goal he scored. I mean, you don't get it often from him, but there we go. I mean, you look at this game. I mean, it's completely dominated by nearly 74% of the ball being with Arsenal. We look at the chance. I mean, what I would say though, yes, you scored 2 goals, 7 shots, 3 on target. Southampton have managed 5 attempts against you, and they have even. After you went 2-1 up, they're still looking a little bit dangerous.
Well, it's what we were talking about in terms of teams that dominate possession, and how you go about attacking those teams. Because even though we've had more possession, even though our shots on target have spiked, I would say Southampton has had the greater amount of quality opportunities.
Yes,
like
no doubt.
Clear-cut opportunities. I mean, apart from Aubameyang's goal, and there was still a degree of difficulty there. We haven't really had any. This should be a goal type
score.
Of,
there hasn't.
Southampton have had like 2 or 3.
That's because when they're attacking you, they're able to have 2 or 3 men run at the 3 to 4 defenders remaining, because Arsenal are being given so much of the ball, it's encouraging them to come forward to try and catch them with a counter punch. And we've seen that tactic work massively in the week for Liverpool. Yeah. Like, people have this fallacy that Liverpool just attacked Man City. They didn't. They let City have the ball and they counter attack them. It's what Southampton have done well. They just haven't finished their chance. They've counter-attacked very, very well today, and that's probably what Shane Long's best at.
It's a combination of things as well. Like, at the end of the day, it's like I feel like Southampton's approach has been the right one. It's worked to a degree, but then you also have got to factor in the quality of the players involved. Shane Long. It's the whole, okay, well, is your striker better than your defender? Is he better at scoring goals than your defender is at preventing them? I would say that Mustafi is still a better defender there, and Long is a striker. However,
of course.
It's the fact that there's a bit of a malaise around us at the moment. We keep on. I feel like we keep on chopping and changing our backline a lot.
Yep.
I don't feel we've had a settled backline throughout the season. Obviously, we know that Koscielny, when he is available, he starts. But we've went from play 3 at the back to now playing the back 4 again.
I think there's a mental state within it as well. I think when players go up against Arsenal, there's this. They're a bit of a wounded animal. Let's have a go at them. They're not as scary as maybe they once were, and that encourage. I remember watching my team, Man United, under Moyes and LVG. I was like, teams actually come and have a go at us now. Under Fergie, everybody was too scared to. Yeah. And there's that mentality shift, which Arsenal are not a scary team to play anymore for a lot of people. People don't get as nervous about, which is, I suppose, is goes to the territory with the way you've been performing and playing massively. But look, we're going to go and watch the second half, because that has probably already just begun. Do us a massive favour as well. Make sure you download the Ultimate Football Fan app as well. Loads of exclusive YouTuber content on there from the guys from Arsenal Fan TV. And many other channels and platforms as well. So go and download that for free. We'll be back at full time to talk more about Arsenal and some football stuff in general. Smash that like button. Leave all your comments below. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you all in a little while.
45.